What if you were to go back and say, put me on a project, give me this to learn, how do I learn more about this? What's stopping you from just doing that and taking it and claiming it?
Nothing.
All right, so what's going
What is going on? So, our organization is kind of in a weird funk on the team that I'm on. I want more to do. I want a leadership position. Well, so-and-so is gonna, want to retire in a couple of years. And I want to make sure that I put myself in a position where I can move up.
on? Right.
And I'm trying to figure out how to do that.
Have you asked them about what position, how you put yourself in a position to move up?
Sometimes there have been a couple of things like, I had a conversation with my boss. He's the one who's, looking towards retiring in the next few years. The problem is that he's not the kind of boss who's going to coach me or help develop me. He's very, stepped back. And that's been a point of contention for us in the past, because I have felt unsupported at times. And so if I'm trying to make some sort of, professional development move, I have a boss that's not really like down in the trench with me trying to put the pieces together. So I feel like I'm kind of trying to figure it out on my own.
Do you think, say some more about this boss, do you think this boss doesn't care or just incapable of doing this?
I think he cares, but he's kind of has a timid personality, and he likes to focus on what he does. Like, he does what he does very well, and he's kind of in his lane, and he didn't want to be a boss. He didn't want to be a supervisor or manager. It was kind of the last man standing. Oh, now you're promoted and now you have a team of people you're supervising. And he shares that all the time, that that's like not where he saw himself. And so it's frustrating because there's a person who's my boss, my supervisor, who doesn't want to be my boss. He doesn't really want to coach. That's not his style. He's a great person to work for because he's super smart and he gets the information and gets the job and the work. But as far as the professional development piece, I feel like I'm kind of in the dark on that.
So what I'm hearing you say is a guy, this poor guy is put in a situation that he doesn't have the capacity or the willingness or whatever to do it. And he's doing it anyways, which is good for him, right?
Yeah.
What does he need? In other words, if we had think of what would he need to help you?
More time.
Yeah.
He's super busy, so I think that having to carve out intentional time to do, professional development or to really dive in our check-ins about my own development feels like not the best use of time because our plates are all so full. We end up just talking about, business and what I'm currently working on. Obviously can't make more time for him.
All right, so what if, I'm curious as to why you're not taking this development plan on your own.
I don't really know I don't know how to do that, I guess. I don't know enough. I've only been at the organization for a year. So I spent the first 6 months telling everybody, well, if we just did it this way, all the problems are solved, and the people who've been there for years are like, okay, yeah, we know that new girl.
So when you say development, what do you mean? Do you mean learning particular parts of the organization?
Yeah, right now I feel like I'm a mile wide and an inch deep. And I'm trying to figure out where I can spend time trying to learn and grow so that I will be ready for that move. The problem is that it's not a direct path. There's no real direct next roll up above me. And so I want to make sure that I'm picking the right things to focus my energy on.
All right, so my intuition's telling me something. I don't know if I'm right, but I'm just going to say it, okay? I feel like you're relying too much on other people for this development. I don't know what it is I need to focus on. I'm not sure what I can do. You're almost acting like your boss.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Is there any guarantees with anything?
No.
So what would it be if you had to create your own development plan right now, in this moment, what would it be?
Well, there's a piece to the job that I don't know very well that I could spend a lot of time focusing on learning. That would help me be able to take on that leadership role. I think I already do a decent job with like working with my coworkers who are the team that is being supervised by the boss that's heading towards the door. So I don't know if that needs to change. So I think maybe my professional development would be focusing on deepening my knowledge of the work. That way I know it, frontwards and backwards.
How could you do that?
I need to be more intentional about setting
So how do
time
you be
aside.
intentional? How do you be intentional about this?
Like carving time out
I
on my
want you to decide
calendar.
right now, like, what is you're gonna walk back to the office and you're gonna make a statement about what you want to do.
Yeah. I don't know.
What's holding you back in saying that?
I think it's deciding what's worth spending my time on. If there's 10 different things that I really need to spend considerable amount of time learning and knowing, but I only have time for 5, how do I pick which 5 to focus on?
All right, so what do you think your homework is here?
Probably to talk to somebody else on the team about which 5 things to focus
I don't want you to rely on people to tell you.
on. Okay.
What is the most important thing to know about that organization? The most important 2 or 3 things to know about the organization? What if you were to go back and say, put me on a project, give me this to learn. How do I learn more about this? What's stopping you from just doing that and taking it and claiming it?
Nothing.
What's scary about that?
I'm worried about investing a lot of time and energy into a plan that I don't know if it's gonna work.
But if you go and claim that, won't they tell you? Hannah, that's gonna be a waste of your time.
No. No one would tell me that.
Yeah.
No one would tell me that. And I think that's the fear. I think that there's a lack of trust at my organization. And so my fear is spending 6 months doing a lot of work to try to deepen my knowledge about something because I have this idea in my head that these are the things that are gonna prime me for this move. And then get to the end of the 6 months and have everyone say, oh, well, yeah, no, sorry.
All right, so the choices are do nothing or do something for 6 months and find out something didn't work.
I have a hard time with that. I have
Yeah.
a hard time with the sunk cost fallacy.
Right.
I feel like I need trust from other people. I need to know that the people around me have my back and that they're gonna help me chart that course so that I don't do it myself and get to the end and realize I went in the wrong direction.
Right. So you haven't talked to your boss about this yet?
Kind of,
Okay.
like a little
What if
bit.
you were to talk to him more intentionally about it?
I think that would go over well.
And in a way of helping him,
Yeah,
like, everything you just explained to me feels really safe. Like if I was your boss, I would feel really safe about this conversation. I would feel like you care, you're being polite, you're being respectful, and you're saying to me, I don't know what to do, and I don't believe in that. I love that sunk cost fallacy. I love that, right? I don't believe in that. And but then make a recommendation of what it is you think you need to do and let him say yes or no.
yeah,
And at least it validates, but really there's no guarantees in any of this.
yeah.
Right? I mean, and I guess just to put a button on this, you are CEO of yourself. Waiting around for other people, right, is going to be frustrating for you,
It is frustrating for me
Right.
right now.
right?
Yeah.
All right, so what are you going to do?
I am going to be the CEO of myself and figure out what I want to focus on learning more about and not look for others to tell me what to focus on.
Right. And maybe,
And maybe talk to my boss about intentional
right,
movement and intentional skill development so that I can move into that position at some point.
excellent.
Thanks.